Hello, Hathorians, and welcome to another episode of Tech Talks. You're joined by me, Nil, Head of Community, and our co-founder and CTO, Marcelo. How are you doing?
Oh, hey Neil, I'm doing great. I feel like definitely I'm leaving the cave. I was so into the development, and after this launch, I've been working on different areas, different other stuff.
100%.
Of course, we're going to talk about some of this stuff here, but
I was
yeah,
gonna
I
say,
feel I feel really good.
I was gonna say, I saw you on Friday, and you looked like you came out of a cave. You had your facial hair, your beard, and
Yeah,
now
I
you look really clean and nice now. But guys, on Friday when I saw Marcelo in our meeting, he had a beard and everything. He just came out of a cave.
yeah I just shaved this morning.
Nice, nice. So it's great that you shaved for this Tech Talks. As you know, it's your platform here, and we talk about loads of things from more technical deep dive and also some of the deliverable stuff that comes from the network. So I appreciate you making the time. And
My
yeah,
pleasure.
we're just going to get stuck in. So just to give the community some context, most recently, like again, I want to applaud you. I applauded Leanne last time, but applaud myself and you. We got Nano Contracts live.
Oh,
So
thank
so
you. The whole thing.
congratulations to the whole
It's a team
team.
effort.
It was a great effort from everyone. So thanks again. It is, guys. It did come out in 2025 as promised. So yeah, awesome. But actually, I'm just going to get stuck straight in. I'm going to be bold. I'm going to be stuck straight in. We got Nano Contracts live, but me in the community, I'm still seeing when Nano. Like, is Nano Contracts live? I'm like, guys, it's live. Check the new website we've got out, the Hathor AI Playground. I know we've been pushing out a lot of content, but I think I'm just going to go straight into it from yourself. Like, Nano Contracts is live. Is it live? Is it when Nano is it warranted to say when Nano still? I'm getting guys tell me when Nano. Tell me, what does this launch mean at the current stage of Nano Contracts where we are today?
Of course, perfect. I guess that's a very honest and relevant question. What does it mean? Like we launched Nano. What does it mean that we launched?
Sure.
Is it live? Oh, so yeah. Short answer: yes, it's live. What does it mean? It means that the platform, the network now is able to execute nano transactions, which are basically transactions that have like a blueprint and a smart contract
Sure.
behind them. Uh, um, so yeah, the network now is capable of doing this.
Amazing.
That's the very lowest level of execution that we need.
Yeah.
So I guess what we are saying that, oh, is it live? Is because it's a low level thing. It's like a hardware of a computer that's there.
Correct.
But what people uses usually is not that. They use something else. They use platforms. They use dApps, decentralized apps, decentralized applications. They don't actually use the low level
Correct.
execution engine and everything. But in order to have the dApps, the applications, and all these things, all this top level stuff running, we need the low level working. So what was actually activated into the network is the low level. So the network now is capable of doing this, and now people are going to use it to build platforms and solutions for our and their communities,
100%.
just like I'd say in other blockchains.
Bro.
So yeah, it's live. The low level, the engine is there. It's ready to be used. It's working. It's safe. It has lots of protections for developers. It can execute Python code
Amazing.
in a safe way. Everything that we discussed here last time is live now.
Amazing.
What's missing? I mean, there's a lot of thing about ecosystem. So it, not we just it was not only the lower level. We have the protocols that allow wallets to connect to the
Yeah.
dApps. So we have Wallet Connect or Rion. They rebranded. We have MetaMask Snaps. Those are all parts of this ecosystem that allows developers to build their solutions
Sure.
in a faster way because they get into like an ecosystem where things already exist and they can just plug and use. So we launched together actually lots of developer tools. We have the playground. all sorts of stuff. But what was activated in the network that you can go to the Explorer and it's written there active is the execution engine, the
Amazing.
capacity to execute transactions that runs arbitrary code into the blockchain in a safe way. And
You know,
this arbitrary code supports random number generators, supports has anti-mav protection, reentrancy protection, all sorts of things there.
cool.
Does it answer the question?
Yeah, I think, yeah. And when you and I get on these, I always give you like some sort of real world example that kind of resonates with me. And one that resonates with me is like, guys, like I live in Dubai, so let's talk about the Burj Khalifa as a building, the tallest building in the world. You have building regulation. You got to build the frame of that building. You got to put it up. And like even with the Halbon audit, you need the surveyors to tell you this building is structurally safe, and you can start furnishing it. And I think the building's up, the building regulation is done, it's ticked off, and now, like you said, that's a protocol level, and everything's at the top level, which is the furnishings, the use cases building their dApps on top of us, which is all the nice and beautiful looking stuff. But Nano going live, it meant that the building structure's up, everything's working at a protocol level. I guess you've mentioned this before, but little things like signaling the network and it going live on a specific date, and actually you running a test net in an exactly similar environment in maybe 4 or 5 test nets in different environments that mimic the original Hathor core, and then you do it with nano contracts on and off. A lot happens, right? So the moment when you say, I've said to you, when Nano, you said Nano is live, it's up and running, the building is up. This is how I look at it, and now is the time to kind of for the use cases, even for ourselves, to kind of just get the aesthetics in, right? So
That's a very good analogy because that's exactly this.
okay,
And now, I mean, we were in Buenos Aires a few weeks ago for the Dev Connect conference there,
yeah,
and we were together, and we were, of course, those are very busy days. Wake up very early, walk all day long, meet with people, lots of meetings, conversations, very nice people that we met there. But when we were home, we were using playgrounds to create
yeah,
games and things that use this building, that use the Nano Contracts platform to create like fun stuff.
yeah,
So we came up with 3 different games in like one night. So just like playing with the playground and so. And I believe that's what's going to happen now. People
yeah,
are going to try and create their own solutions or games or betting or whatever. Because now they have these tools. But
yeah,
the tools are there, but it's like the building is not furnished yet.
yeah.
Furniture is coming. That's
Furniture's
what
coming.
developers and builders are going to do. They're going to do their own space there.
Amazing. Yeah, Jan and I did a leadership forum last week, I believe, and he demoed the AI curation side of it, of just asking it to create tic tac toe, and it set the parameters really nice. And he was going through saying, "Look, it's done this and this," and me as not being me as a creative and not as a dev background, I understood it. Like I was like, okay, it's understood Jan's input of wanting tic tac toe, and it's used its brain to actually give it parameters that in the normal world you'd have to kind of do yourself and think, but it's thought for you, and actually set the things for you, which is amazing. So to segue from this answer you've given, the furniture, let's actually talk about the furniture now, and talk
Okay.
about some of the things. It's going to be a very direct episode, I guess, Marcelo. So
Go ahead. Shoot
thanks,
it.
thanks. Yeah, amazing. So the furniture, and I think the first thing that comes to my mind, and even referring to the recent roadmap, is I guess like blueprints in general. Let's actually go to. I know I wanted to touch on more of the AI, sorry, the marketplace, but blueprints in general. I guess another thing that comes with when Nano meme is like, oh, Nanos is live, but you need to there are still restrictions on blueprints. What is the current status with the blueprints? Like whether it's like restrictions, and what is the plan for like decentralization, making it fully autonomous?
Okay.
In terms of approval.
Yeah. Right now, we have this restriction on blueprints. So people that would like to put blueprints in the network, they need a signature from Hathor Labs. Why is that? Because we're just being very cautious, and it's better to be safe than sorry. We did like all sorts of testing. We thoroughly tested our platform. We got Halborn to review it. So we're very confident that it's safe, but we don't know what's coming. It's a big world. So we're just being cautious, and we are adding more security measures here and there because there are all sorts of attacks. So we're very comfortable about attacks where people will kind of steal money, steal tokens from others. We are very confident that they're not there. There's no way to do that unless there's a bug in the contract. So it's something else, not in the engine, because the engine is something that impacts everything. If
Correct.
there's a security issue in the engine, all contracts are subject to that security issue. So we're very confident about it. What we are adding protections is for denial of service attacks,
Okay.
which basically are attacks that try to get the network down.
Okay.
So they cannot steal funds, but they can get the network down. There are different ways of doing this. They can use too much memory. They can use too much storage. They can abuse in the use of CPU, of processing. There are different ways of doing this. So we're adding more and more and more protections because Python is a very, very flexible language. So it's on one hand, it's super good because for developers, it's super easy to code. It's super easy to read what the code does. On the other hand, there's many different ways of doing attacks.
100%. 100%.
Of trying to do a DOS attack, a denial of service attack. So we are improving the engine, adding restrictions. It's interesting because it doesn't impact the contracts themselves. So whenever we update the full nodes, the contracts are going to run as they were before. It's going to be fully compatible. There's no need to activate something new. It's details on the execution engine. And that's why we still have a restriction. We've been trying to attack, and we want to see what people are sending. We're learning from the blueprints that we have already received. Oh, they want to do this. So, this restriction is not nice because it impacts this. So let's do it differently. So we are doing this. And I'd say like in the coming months, we're going to feel comfortable that, okay, let's just lift and let everyone send their own blueprints and that's it.
I think also like, it's great explanation, and it does kind of link to one of Jan's responses in Leadership Forum, where actually in Buenos Aires, I guess you guys had a meeting, and someone might have said it to Jan, but you may have been there, but you could agree with me. The comparison between Solidity developers and Python developers is like night and day. Like there's only apparently 25 to 50,000 Solidity developers, and then you think there are millions of Python developers. So you don't even know that the increase of developers means the increase of risk. Like whether it's like different sorts of attacks the industry may have not even seen yet, because you're getting like millions and millions of developers, which is on one side great for adoption. We're about to onboard the next wave of the most commonly used language, not in the world. We're not just talking about the small industry we're in, we're talking about the world. So I guess like, guys, we've launched Nano Contracts, and like having some sort of restriction at the beginning while we kind of make sure there's no maliciousness or anything, I think is a very sensible thing, especially if you're saying within the next couple of months we'll lift it. But when I look at it from the volume of potential developers coming in, you have to also mitigate the volume of potential risks that could come with that, right?
Yeah. And the decision to restrict, for now, it was heavily debated internally, because I know it's controversial. And our point is that we are not here to review the blueprints from the business perspective, from the business logic, what the blueprint does or doesn't do. It's not up to us. We're just looking at the potential DOS that can happen. DOS is denial of service. That's a very specific type of attack where you can bring the network down. So we are just learning what people want to do, how much
Sure.
memory they want to use, how much storage they want to use, so we can
Okay.
set good restrictions
Okay.
in a safe way. If we restrict too much,
That makes
it
sense.
gets super. We reduce what people can build on top of it. If you
Yeah.
let it go too much, it requires like a supercomputer to run, and we don't want this.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want the full node is designed to run in any personal computer, modern personal computer nowadays. So that's the goal. It's find the balance.
Yeah.
Some networks, what they do that they don't have this kind of issue, just like we have, is that they compromise this decentralization, this full node execution. So they said some networks they have like very super strict requirements for computers that run validators. So validators computers are super expensive.
Really.
They have lots of networking requirements and memory requirements and CPU requirements, so they can run in a very specific way. So that's how they scale.
Sure.
Actually, they centralize and they have like a small group of validators, and only those execute transactions, and everyone is just watching. They are doing nothing. That's not our model. In our model, every full node executes everything. So we need to find good compromises so regular or personal computers can do it without having to buy a supercomputer. So that's in line with our view about scalability
Sure.
without compromising decentralization.
Okay. Okay. No, thanks for
Make
covering that.
sense?
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. I know I gave my example of the Solidity versus Python developers coming in volumes and so on, but I guess like the main thing is there are a few things we're looking at. I guess the example you said is the DNS. You said the DNS and
DOS,
DOS
denial
is
of service.
denial of service. So something I learned today. So I guess that is the main one that we're kind of looking at in terms of. And as you said at the beginning of this quick segment, as we talk about blueprints, the plan is to lift things when we're comfortable in the coming months or so. So yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And you know what? I actually have other questions which link to more of the stuff that's on the roadmap. But I want to ask you another last direct question. We've talked about when Nano, yeah, we've talked about when blueprint restriction lifted, when Dozer, I guess this also links to the blueprint side of things. So yeah, when Dozer,
Okay,
what's the
those
big
are that's a very fair question, and we've been working together with them for a few years. And they are super nice people, super engineers. They're super good.
amazing?
And but what happened that I can tell is that we were in the cave working to get nanos out, to get nanos activated, to get the building well built, and now we are out of the cave. And after we
Sure.
left the cave, we said, hey guys, do you want us to help to review your code? Because we're not reviewing. That's their code. That's not our code.
Of course.
That's their blueprint. Do you want us to do this? And they said, oh, yes, of course. And then we started doing this review, but it takes a while to do
Yeah,
this.
for sure.
Their manager blueprint, it's public in the GitHub repository. Anyone can go there and see. It has about 5,000 lines of code. So it's a big blueprint without tests. Tests are
Yeah,
separate. So we are doing the review, a thorough review, and helping them to improve. We haven't found any critical issue.
amazing.
We found improvement points here and there, and we are running more and more tests, improving the test suite. So basically, what happened was that we left the cave. We offered them, "Do you want us to review? Do you want us to help?" And they said, "Yes, of course." And of course, we could have done this before. We were so focused on the launch that we've never offered them to review
Awesome.
their code. But now
Uh,
we did, and they said yes. And they said, okay, it makes sense to postpone it a bit to get this review. So we are not auditing the
yeah,
codes. Of course, we are doing a thorough review. I'm saying that we are doing our best to look for improvement points, optimizations, and code organization to have better testing. That's the main goal of what they're doing.
sure.
And I guess from the very first version that I reviewed 3 weeks ago, I guess, to now, I guess the code improved considerably. It changed
Amazing.
a lot.
Yeah, wow.
It's not like it's not like really safer because it was safe already. But it's way easier to read and understand what's going on. They added log messages. They're doing improvement points so you can know what's going on when you have your transaction going into the network. Uh, uh, yeah, I guess that's it.
Yeah, I
It's
guess
their blueprint. It's not up to us to decide
100%.
some things. I'd say like it's up to them to make this decision. So I don't want to say something that is not my call.
Of course.
But I guess they're not far away from saying, okay, that's enough. Let's launch.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's use this code. But
sure.
that's
And I
up
guess
to them. That's not our decision.
definitely. Guess it goes back to like the whole WEN Nano thing that WEN Dozer is kind of like based on the protocol level of Nano. If they wanted to launch, they can. But the whole point we're going
They
through this
can.
whole thing, we could be like, guys, we'll put the blueprint live now. But the whole point that this is happening is because we've come out of the cave. Our resources, which were all hands on deck to bring Nano contracts to life, why not offer their helping hand? Because it is a DEX that it is the DEX of Hathor. It's going to be a great use case on Hathor, and you know, even if it's just repositioning code to make it more easier to read and stuff, this is a very beneficial investment into the long run of a
Yeah.
great use
And,
case.
and, and I'd like to add one thing
Sure.
because I guess it matters. In the last 5 6 months, we added many tools for developers in the Nano engine, and they are not very well documented yet. But during
Okay.
the review, we are explaining them to Dozer and saying, "Hey guys, you can use this and that." Oh, we didn't know that.
Oh,
Yeah. We
cool.
know it's something new. We know it's going to be very well documented. Everyone's going to use it, but you can use it now. So one thing that was a benefit was that they got like people from the Hathor core
Mhm.
reviewing their code, so we know everything that's available there, and we are giving them some hints, saying, "Hey, this thing didn't exist like when you did this 1 year ago. I know your code's well tested and so, but you can use this to make that." And we are helping them and giving these tips of things that are not very well documented. So that's also part of the
Sure,
things
sure.
that are going on. That's why it's taking a bit. But I guess 2 to 3 weeks of review, I guess it's fair. It's a good timing. And I guess I hope they are seeing the benefits of
Definitely.
like getting this review. But yeah, that's what changed.
Sure.
Now we have people available to help and review their code.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing. And I know. Again, going live as you mentioned, just to give some context before we moved on. This is all in, I guess, Dozer's control. We're giving a helping hand, and yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since the launch, and we've come out of the cave. We've decided to help, and there's been good progress on that side. So yeah, we'll leave it up to them to their launch is up to them and how they're going to do it and so on. So won't tease too much, but it sounds good. Sounds very sensible, and I guess it's great to I think you've answered the first few when questions and very well. So sorry, I was a bit awkward with these questions, but you answered them well for me. So guys, if you like this approach, let's do more rigorous questions and make some more Q&As like this. But I want to move away from some of these things and actually talk about what's coming from the roadmap. I guess
Okay.
taking your background and as our CTO and your insights are very valuable for the community. So I kind of want to head straight into privacy. I have a couple of questions here, but I kind of going to merge it into one since I didn't really
Okay.
plan the first few questions. We're already 25 minutes in, so I know I just threw that at you. I'm really sorry. But I want to talk about privacy, okay? And the two questions I have, I want to kind of combine them. And the question is basically, why is privacy a central theme now? And how will shielded transactions work in practice? So basically, why is privacy a thing now? And we've announced shielded transactions. A Cointelegraph blog just went out last week on shielded transactions. There's a lot of talk about it. Why is this the theme now? And how will Hathor with shielded transactions work in practice?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I guess we have been successful in the real world assets like RWA. use cases. But the more we grow, the more we see and we get in contact with companies or use cases that where confidentiality is a thing, is a big thing.
Sure.
Because nowadays in the blockchain, you can track and you can see all transactions and the numbers and what's going on, who is sending what to who. Of course, you have the address only, but still, you know the amounts, you know how much is being transacted. So whenever someone makes a large transaction in Bitcoin, lots of alerts go off everywhere. Hey, a whale is moving. So confidentiality becomes a thing when you have real use cases there. We even talked to one use case that they said, okay, we are using this network for this reason, and we can move to we liked everything we saw there. We tested it, works very well. We have everything ready to go, but you don't have confidentiality, and that's a break for us. That's something that we have to. So we've seen like confidentiality has been a growing concern in the blockchain and decentralized worlds, and we want to bring this to our network.
Yeah.
The math behind confidentiality is very, very stable. It's super good. It's not like under development or something that's too new to be safe. So those are old tech, I'd say, old math from the cryptography world. And the idea with shielded transactions is to allow users to choose to go to a shielded world where people can see like the very last transactions that are open in the blockchain. And from that point on, everything is shielded. So the network can confirm that the transaction is valid. So I'm not creating tokens, I'm not destroying tokens, I'm sending tokens to you. The amounts are correct, or I'm sending to 10 different addresses. They can check that everything is right without knowing the numbers. So the numbers are gonna be like private.
Okay.
Are gonna be shielded. And of course, I know the secrets behind that shielding. So if I want to reveal to you, I can give you the secrets, and you can go to the blockchain and confirm that those were the numbers.
Yeah.
So people interested in that transaction, or auditors, or I don't know.
It makes it compliant.
If you want to reveal that specific amounts to someone, you can. It's up to you.
Yeah.
So those are all properties of this confidentiality feature. And if you want to move back from shielded worlds to an open world, you can too. So you can create a transaction that unshield stuff, and from that point on, people are going to see the amounts again. So that's the feature that we'd like to bring, and the idea is to allow people to move privately on chain. Because nowadays, at least in our network, it's kind of pseudo private because you have the addresses, but the amounts and everything is plain. Everyone can go and see and check the amounts. So people are going to have the choice. And we have to make this work nicely with contracts, because contracts attributes are all public too. So that's another point of research for us, how to get the contract shielded together with the transactions. I mean, that's in the roadmap. That's what we're going to work on. But yeah, for the transactions for the UTXO world, I guess we have a very, very solid solution, and we're going to work together to make it work together with Nano Contracts.
I haven't written this here, but like from like an overview on like implementation or switching it on, how I know you can't probably say much, but how complicated is it, or is it that complicated on our network to kind of
as I said, it's like well established cryptography methods. So we're going to use Peterson's commitments and other stuff. So it's not super complicated. I guess the complex part is how to use the
Yeah.
cryptography, the math in our platform, working together with all parts that we have. So our transactions are multi-token. They can have nano headers. Here I'm being a bit technical, but we need to know how everything is working there. We have deposits actions to interact with contracts. We have the balances of the contracts inside. So we have to make everything work nicely together. And after we have the Hathor core or the full node implemented and working, we need to go to the clients, to the wallets, to the MetaMask Snaps integration, and add fields for people to say, okay, shield this one, shield that one, unshield this one, to have like a very nice user interface where people can choose what they want the network to see and what they don't want the network to see.
Amazing. I think you've covered that pretty well. Thank you. So, yeah, I guess shielded transactions is again, privacy at the moment is a hot topic, and yeah, shielded transactions are coming to the network. I guess you did touch on it quite technically a little bit there, but the concept of it makes sense. I guess even when you talk about nowadays, the reason with institutions, whether it's like private small use cases or even institutions, privacy is definitely a big element. I like the mention I learned today was that it's reversible and that actually the transaction can be revealed. It makes me think about like even because of course like if you want it to institutions to use it and institutions wants to make things private, then you of course want to avoid malicious behavior of the blockchain, which the blockchain can be used to in today's current day and age, even with public transactions. So like, you know, being able to reveal and audit, like if someone wants to see the transaction and reveal, it's amazing that that can be done. It's not just that it's totally private, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, and it's very important for regulated use cases.
regulated use, yeah.
Regulators want to have access sometimes, external auditors. There are many different uses for this revealing
Correct,
process.
correct.
And the idea is that you can review whatever you want. So you don't have to review the whole transaction. You can review the whole thing. You can review just one number. It depends on what's going on and what's the purpose of the review. But yeah, this kind of flexibility will be there.
Sure, amazing. You know, so I've got a few more questions, but I think I was reading this question and I wanted to make it kind of direct, like our original at the beginning of the. So I want to be direct with you again because I think this question links to like one of the upcoming use cases coming out, which is Kenzu, and people are excited about this use case coming, which is the meme launch, the meme use case to launch tokens and so on. And I guess the main feature being we're waiting on is the dynamic transaction model. So we haven't touched on this. So I wanted you to kind of explain what the dynamic transaction model is, because it is a really important part post Nano and also like just basically, hey, what's happening with it? What's pending? You know, when are we gonna kind of see this come to light? And and to remind people of it, what is the dynamic transaction model?
Okay. Yeah, the
Yeah.
dynamic transaction model is internally, I also call it fee-based tokens, because
Yeah.
in Hathor Network, anyone can create a token. It's very simple. It's native from the network. There's a special type of transaction that creates a token, and this token can be used in the network. That's how people did all use cases, basically, including NFTs, for example.
Yes.
But our tokens currently requires a deposit, and it's free to use. You don't pay fees. But for some use cases, they want to mint to create a very large number of tokens, and then the deposit gets too expensive. We knew this from the beginning. It was by design, but there are more and more use cases coming where they want to create like a huge number of tokens for their platform.
Memes, right? Because I guess when even if you look back, sorry to cut you off there, back to like 2018 when you guys were working on prior to mainnet launch, I guess memes weren't even a thing then, or
No,
we didn't consider like billions of tokens being needed to token. But this is something that's come in the most recent years. Sorry to cut you there. I just wanted to
no, that's right. The market changed, and it's like a way to adapt to the needs. So we decided to create a new type of transaction in the network, and this new type is a transaction that pays a very small fee. There are some rules, but it
Sure.
doesn't require any deposits. So
Okay.
it's up to the token creator to decide what they want to do.
Nice.
They can decide to pay some fees or can decide to go feeless. If they go feeless, a deposit is required. If they decide to pay fees, they don't have to deposit anything. So they can create large number of tokens and use the way that they want. And you asked what's pending, and I'd say right now almost nothing.
Oh wow.
The thing was, Nano Contracts was created separately from this new transaction model
Sure.
with this fee-based tokens. But after Nano was after we finished the Nano testnets and you got one code base, a single code base. What happened was that those codes they had to interact because these tokens are going to be deposited into the Nano contracts. Contracts can transfer tokens to other contracts. So this both of these worlds need to work together.
Sure.
And we were ready to launch both together during the Nano launch. We did the integration, we tested, and everything was okay. But so what happened is that during an integration test, because it's just like in the full node, so we have to have this new token in the clients, in the explorer, in the wallets, in the MetaMask snaps, everywhere. We found some integration issues.
Okay.
And some changes were needed for these integrations to work nicely. And we said, okay, let's just like pause the launch of this while we finish this integration. And then after all integrations are complete, we're going to launch it. So internally, everything is ready to go. We're just finishing these integrations to make sure everything's there, no changes needed. Because after the launch happens, some changes are very hard to do. And they require way more work than before the launch.
Mhm.
So basically, everything is ready internally. We just need to get the new feature activation and configure it and put it out. But we are finishing all the integrations before we do this, so we know that no change is needed and we can move forward. So I'd say in the coming weeks or months, we should have the feature activation there and everything launched.
Amazing.
So internally on the full node, that's where everything happens. Actually,
Yeah.
everything is done. We are just doing the integrations and checking that
And it will go through a
nothing else
feature.
is needed.
It'll go through a feature activation as did
It's going to go through a feature activation. It was configured initially to go together with the Nano. They
Okay.
would be activated together. So it was one feature activation for both.
Oh, interesting.
But after we had these integration issues, we said, okay, step back, roll back. Let's take it.
Absolutely.
Let's do it separately, and that's what they're doing. So it's going to a separate activation. It's going to be activated. It's going to be available for the use cases.
I admire that because you could have even, not saying we could have strategically delayed putting them both at the same time, but you guys decided to push Nano live and actually work on the dynamic transaction model to make sure that it's good rather than delay both, because the plan was to push them both at the same time, right?
Yeah, actually that was exactly the point. We had this conversation and some debates about should we postpone everything.
Yeah.
And then we said, okay, if it's just a week, we can do this. But there were more integrations to be done. And he said, oh, no. Let's launch Nano. They are independent features, even though they work together. They are separate features. So we can launch them later after we finish all the integrations that we have to do.
And look, you're doing this outside the cave now, right? Because we
Yeah.
didn't want to be in the cave for a couple more months or a month or a week.
No. I'm not there anymore.
No.
I'm working on different projects. Of course, they are Nano related, but they are not like at the core
100%.
engine of Nano as before.
100%. No, it's exciting stuff. Yeah, like some of the things you spoken about last week, and like I said, when I saw you with a full beard, there's a lot of exciting things coming. So it's all nice. And since we're on the topic of dynamic transaction model, I guess wanted to segue into one of the other mentions in the all new roadmap, which is the Blueprint Marketplace. So I guess this kind of links to This because I guess it comes with the monetization of blueprints and so on. And just wanted you to touch on that, right? Give us some more information on the blueprint marketplace. Like, why is it important? Like, why is another cosmetic part, as we said, to furnishing this building we've made now? You know, the dynamic transaction being the sofa, and we're now talking about like putting up a feature wall in this building, right? Why is the blueprint marketplace a nice cosmetic that's going to add to nano contracts and to
Okay.
the yeah
Yeah.
to the
I just like to start saying that Nano is out there. It's already
yeah
working. People are building, and they're going to do their own business models, usually charging fees
great.
from their contracts.
Because you said, sorry to cut you there, because just to give people clarity, without a blueprint marketplace and without even a dynamic transaction model, Dozer doesn't, for example, as a use case, is not a use case that depends on either of those. For example,
No, they
just
don't.
yeah, okay,
I guess they can benefit out of those if they want to use those. Of course, they
sure,
can do other stuff maybe. But for the liquidity pool, the Oasis, the incentive scheme, no, they don't need those.
sure, amazing. Yeah, sorry to cut you.
And sorry.
No, sorry to cut you there.
Oh, no, that's fine. You can do it. My goal here is to help like people to understand what's going on, what we're building, why these things are relevant. So marketplaces like the Blueprint marketplace, for me, I think it's one of the most desirable things to have in the network because it's all about incentives.
Yeah,
And the way I see this is that nowadays developers, if you go like to a centralized world, so companies they have their code base. The code base is usually private. Sometimes they make something public. They publish on GitHub and people can use it. But most companies they keep their code private. They run their infrastructure and they run their businesses. So that's how they do. So if they want to use somebody else's code, the code's private, and they have to do licensing and pay somehow the developer or the company that built that library or whatever they're using. That's how business are done in like outside the decentralized world, in the real world of companies and countries and everything regulated world. Uh, on the decentralized world, on the other side, uh, uh, after your code is out, everyone can simply go there and use it for free. Usually people publish on GitHub, but even if you don't, the code is going to be public in the blockchain. And people will be able to copy that code and use that code
sure,
without paying a fee. So the marketplace is about that. It's a space where developers, builders, entrepreneurs, they can create blueprints, which is basically code. It's not the contracts, it's code,
sure,
and they can. We're gonna. I don't want to compromise with like a specific feature, but
sure, sure.
I have some brainstorming here. I'm just brainstorming where
Just
they
so
can say, okay, to create a contract out of this blueprints, you have to pay me $1.
yeah,
And to do this swap, to do this thing in this contract, you have to pay me a cent. And then they can set like licensing
what?
style fees. And whenever someone uses that blueprint, people are going to pay fees, and the fees are going straight to the developers. Of course, the platform can charge fees as well. So
Sure,
it's just like splitting the fees among different players. That's what happens. That's how the most companies operate. Whenever
yes,
you use your credit cards, there are more than 10 companies that are paid by the fees that are charged for that transaction.
it's really
Some
creating an economy, right? Like,
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's I see it as like an evolution.
yeah,
We are
definitely,
evolving from a smart contract platform that's nice to run codes and so to a whole economics ecosystem where fees are split somehow among different players according to the use. So if your code's being used somewhere by someone, eventually you're going to be paid. There are some challenges to do this in a decentralized way. And
definitely.
I guess the biggest challenge is to create like a decentralized committee to solve conflicts. People are going to claim, oh, he's copying my codes. This is mine. Just like in the real world. And oh, this fee should be mine. So if you have like a video on YouTube and you use somebody else's intellectual property, like a song, and you don't have the right licensing, YouTube demonetize you. You don't get the money from that video, and they send the money to the owner of that
Wow,
IP, of
wow,
that intellectual property. So doing it in a centralized way, it's not hard. Doing it in a decentralized way has some challenges. So we're gonna go now out of the cave, not nano anymore, but like how can we build a safe marketplace to monetize developers and builders? And I think marketplace is a very interesting business model
definitely.
because I can see like WordPress, like it's a huge blog system. They have a huge marketplace where people make lots of money by, okay, I want to have this integration with Twitter. I can buy this integration here. I pay the guy this and that according to the licensing model. And I have this on my website, like in a very easy way. So it's kind of like a plug and play. And it, on the other hand, so for the developers, they're going to have a way to monetize. On the other hand, if I'm a user, I want to create a use case. I can go to this catalog of blueprints and say, oh, this thing already exists. This thing
Wow,
already exists. This thing already exists. I'll use this, and that, and we're going to build my solution in a day instead of in a year.
amazing.
That's the whole point about this marketplace thing. Does
Also,
it answer your question?
definitely answers my question. Yeah. I think one thing I wanted to add is like when we come outside of Web3 for a second, and you talk about the average, whether it's like adult or teenager or whatever it may be, the common, the common like desire, is people have their jobs, they have their lives, but income or monetizing is something everyone wants to make money, whether it's a side hustle, side gig, or, they want to become an entrepreneur, they want to build a business. Like one thing from your explanation, I think is like, this is now the true opening for passive income for developers, like a
Yeah,
developer can build,
that's
you know, a,
that's the point.
yeah,
A passive income and like another source of income
another
because that's
source,
something that was out. They didn't
100%,
have this choice because
100%.
if you create like your like Uniswap, this guy put a lot of effort to create their blueprints, their contracts.
100%.
Anybody can go there and just copy and use whatever they built without paying them a penny.
100%.
So the idea here is to offer a way to let people reuse other people's code and pay them. So
Yeah,
it becomes another source of income and a passive income because you've done it already and people are paying you because they're using whatever you built in the past.
exactly. Yeah, and I think you've touched on, I asked you kind of what it is and why it's important. I think you've covered that extremely well. It definitely is important for when we talk about, just to summarize, the economy side of things, creating an economy. And then with that, we're talking about income, passive income, and so on. It's really what you guys designed it to be, which is really like helping the developer. Because I guess for any network, we need devs. Chains need devs. They need builders, and this is definitely a way to kind of reward and look after them and incentivize them in a real way. In a real way, because of course devs do get incentivized. We see it like in the industry over the years, but like this is a very like a nice way of doing it, and a very like especially when we talk about the conversation of onboarding Web 2 to Web 3, we're talking about Python, we're talking about all of these things that have now made blockchain so much more accessible through Hathor only. Now introducing something like this is just that,
Yeah,
the
and
cherry
I
on the
think
cake.
it's like a natural evolution
Yeah,
because blockchains allow people to run code in a decentralized way. Uh, 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 so it seems like, and it has tokens that are like stable coins. They have like already like a way to transfer assets from one to another. That like, why not? If everything is working together in a single platform, in a single network, why not build this intellectual property mechanism?
Yeah.
where people would be paid for work that they've done and they are reusing. So you can create your own if you want, but you have to start from scratch, or you can pay somebody else's and you can get like use their code just like in the real world. That's how companies make money. So I guess it's going to open new business models and new sources of income, and it's a good uh, 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 let's say a way to incentivize
Yeah, correct.
developers to come and make their money. I wish my wish here is that in a few years we're going to be celebrating like developers making lots of money because they're building things that are valuable for the community, for the use case, and for everyone. I hope.
Yeah, me too. I think that's very realistic. So thank you for covering that well. You know, and when we talk, like I said, we could talk for a long time. We're just headed into 50 minutes. Still have a few more questions, so I'm going to couple a couple of them together again, as I did with privacy. The questions I want to kind of merge together are surrounding AI. I know recently in the recent roadmap with Hathor Playground and so on, we have spoken a lot about AI. The two questions I kind of want to merge, they may not link, but I'm just going to position them together, and you can kind of answer them in the way you usually do, in a natural way. Um, One question I have here is, what are pipeline transactions, and how do they connect to AI and intents? And then also like, how will the AI playground evolve into a DApp creator? You know, I know that they're probably very separate questions, even though AI is mentioned in
Yeah,
both. So I guess however you, I'm just trying to utilize our time well. So however you want to answer each of them, go for it. Yeah,
that's okay. So pipeline transactions
yeah,
are a different way of doing nano transactions, of executing codes in the blockchain. How does it
okay,
work today? Each transaction makes one execution. It calls a method that I call like the entry point. And this method of this contract is going to do lots of stuff. It can call other contracts if it wants, but that's how it works. You call one method and let it go. So if you want to do more advanced stuff, you need to create a separate contract that makes a sequence of calls for you in a certain order.
okay,
So it's complex. You have to create the contract and then you have to call your method to do everything for you. If there's an issue, you have to fix and create a new contract. So I guess it's a very complex way of doing complex operations. So pipeline transactions is a way to execute multiple calls following rules in a single transaction without the need to create a blueprint or to create a contract or to do any of those. So you go to your transaction, say, I want to do this swap, loan this money from this contract, do this swap, repay, and do this, and do another swap, and do another swap, and do this, and run everything. If something fails, roll back everything. If everything succeeds, it's all done.
well,
So it's a way to execute multiple things in a
mm,
single transaction in an atomic way.
okay,
So if something goes wrong, everything fails. You don't you don't lose your money or whatever you're doing. Uh, 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 yeah, an analogy here, but it might be very
yeah, I
technical.
was gonna say
Is
go
like
for it.
yeah, it's highly inspired in the idea of like in Linux, Unix-like systems, you have the pipe. That's why it's called the pipeline.
Okay, nice.
So you call one command and then you pipe. So it means get the output of this command and use as input for that command and call another command and then you pipe again. And then goes another command and then you pipe again. So you can run several commands and connects the output of one in the input of the other. That's very common. It's everywhere in Unix systems. And I said, why not allow people to do something very similar where they call this method, this contract, get the output, put in another call, and another call in a single transaction. It allows people to create way more advanced transactions in a single transaction in an atomic way. So I don't know if it's too technical if you understand this,
Actually,
but that's the inspiration.
okay, amazing. I know I asked you that the AI link to this was can AI, is there a form of AI making this easier to make? But my first question would be like, with pipeline transactions, you talked about multiple things happening inside the transaction.
Yeah.
Kind of made me think about smart contract, because a smart contract does the whole purpose of a smart contract or a blueprint is that. But is this because it's an actual transaction? Just to kind of give why, for example, what makes pipeline transactions, you like, what would be the main use case for a pipeline transaction, or is it
Yeah, there can be plenty.
is it replacing a
So
standard transaction, like, or does it act like a? I'm really asking as a, like, if imagine as a non-technical
from the
community,
user, yeah, from the user
yeah, like
perspective.
I
So
might think, oh, like isn't that what smart contracts are supposed to do, or what is it?
okay. And my answer is going to connect this with the AI and the intent that you mentioned in the
Sure.
question. So let's say that you have like an AI bot that's
Okay,
looking for ways to profit. And then
okay,
the AI gets to the conclusion, oh, if right now I execute this swap here, I make this loan, I execute that swap in the other contract, and the other swap, and then I repay the loan, and then I do this, it builds like a sequence of calls of executions that would be profitable for any reason. Uh, uh, Nowadays, without the pipeline transactions, the AI would have to write a piece of contract, create the contract in the network, call that method to execute, see what's happening, if there's a bug, if everything works well, etc. And if there's any change in the code that's needed, it needs to create a new contract, submits to the network, gets the contract in the network, pay the fees, etc. And then call it again and test. So it's very complex to do.
yeah, definitely
So
complex.
my example here is like a complex DeFi flow, where you're using different parts of a DeFi, a decentralized finance ecosystem, to profit for some reason. That sequence of executions of swaps is profitable. Using pipelines, the AI can simply, your intent is to profit this way. It can create the script, put in a transaction, the pipeline, and send it to the network. And the network is going to execute it immediately. If it's profitable or not, it depends on what the AI did, but it's going to allow this kind of things. So execution is going to be way more sophisticated. So you can have like users creating execution manually or using AI agents to create the execution for them. And then it opens door to many different approaches and strategies for people to profit in the blockchain trading. That's just one example.
Yeah, that's one example. Yeah, amazing, amazing. Yeah. No, thanks for answering on the AI and intents, and I guess the whole chatbot type of AI bot example of actioning a transaction using intents. It does make sense, definitely. Um, and I want to segue into my second AI question, which is about the AI playground. So as the community probably know, if you're just tuning in, we've launched Nano Contracts on mainnet, and one of the main functions that if someone actually wanted to see it and actually interact with it, you can go to Hathor.network and go straight to the AI playground and do everything in browser. You know, and so far, great feedback. You know, I personally never understood because I've never coded, but the more I'm seeing kind of the tutorials and seeing that you can do tests in a browser and you could do everything so easy in a browser, I now have come to realize how revolutionary this is and how different it is compared to other, whether it's other programming languages or the programming world up until this point. But my question is, surrounding this very great thing we have already, the AI playground, how do you see it evolving further, and specifically into some sort of dApp creator, let's say?
Okay, yeah, I guess your description is super good. The playground, I guess there's one part of it that's running in the browser, so you don't have to install anything. You
And nothing
simply
like
use it.
yeah,
And the other part is that we plugged in an AI agent inside the playground. So you have like ChatGPT, Gemini, Grok, one of those helping you to build your I'd call it here your application, because this agent, first of all, we are creating this agent in a way that it understands nano contracts, it understands blueprints, the APIs, how to run tests, how to do. So there's lots of in these worlds they call MCPs. It's basically tools that does things for the AI. We're building all these things. So you can say, please create a game, tic-tac-toe game that works like this and pay fees like that. You explain in a very ambiguous and like with a prompt, you explain what you want. And the agent creates the blueprint, create tests, run the tests to make sure that the blueprints are working as expected. The agent already knows attacks and protections that it must do because we are teaching it those things. So we create like all these things for you. Here I'm talking about the blueprint, but it goes further. You go and say, okay, now create a decentralized application that's a web application that works like this, have this screen and that screen, connects with the wallets and everything, and it creates the dApp for you. That's something that we're working on, and that there's been so much progress in this vibe coding area outside of blockchain that we need to adapt to the news. There's news every day coming out of it, but the whole idea is like we believe that in the future, it's not like I don't think AI is going to replace developers, but it's going to enhance developers. Developers are going to do like 100 times more faster because of these tools. And we are integrating these tools with our technology and offering an agent where people can talk to the agent, and the agent would know everything about Hathor, about nano contracts, about the engine execution, about syscalls, logging, events, integration. So there's lots of information for the AI to know. And you just say create a tic-tac-toe game with a web interface that's gonna be like this and that, and it's gonna create like everything for you. And then you, of course, as a developer, you're gonna review everything and you're gonna run your own tests and you're gonna say, okay, change this, change that. So one, you can prototype very quickly. And that's how we did things in Buenos Aires. We create 3 games in like 3 hours. And it had like user interface and everything. It was super fun.
Wow.
I created a game called Hathor Dice, which is a replica of the Satoshi Dice that was created in the Bitcoin network. And but the interface is something different. He said, I want something like casino-like. I want to have like the wheel spinning and the sounds. And the AI did most of the work. I was like guiding the AI and reviewing the code. It was super fun, but I could prototype like this. And whenever the AI did something for me, I said, I didn't like it. I want it differently. And now that it got to a point where I say, okay, that's what I wanted. I'm reviewing the code and I'm working on the tests. So it speeds up development a lot.
Because
What we're doing there is integrating all these AI tools into our technology, so developers can use them as they are using to do other stuff.
yeah, because I'm comparing what you're saying to me just being an average user of AI, and when you compare to like the generation we are, where we have ChatGPT, and it's just a nice to have where it just not okay. You've just pushed out an entire, let's say, like article for me. Oh, but I don't like this. But those days, we would have been probably happy with that, like, oh, that's amazing, thank you. But now it's kind of, nah, that's a nice to have. But do this for me. And how you've kind of explained that with the coding side is like, you would have had to sit down and think this through and write the code down for a particular sound or whatever it may be. And it's just thrown it at you. And you're like, no, actually, I like it this way. So the aid it gives the developers is insane. It's like you said, you made 3 games in 3 hours, and this is just a start, right? Like already, what you've explained means it is as really as powerful as it can be, you know. And I guess the AI Playground, when we've talked today about buildings and structures, with any type of prototype, it's about getting that building set, like the structure really set. That's what the whole purpose of using these tools to kind of generate code with ease in a browser in Python. You know, it's amazing how far it's come or how advanced it is, and this is just a start. You know?
Yeah, and I've been using it myself, these
Yeah,
tools, and what I see is that we are, again, internally we call this the developer experience.
yeah,
We are trying to give tools, or as they call, like more technically, SDK, software development kits, to help developers to build. So we believe, like, in the future, people, I mean, nowadays lots of people are already using these tools, but it's going to be more and more. The growth is really incredible, has been really incredible, and the growth in using these tools. And what we're doing is that we are okay. If developers want to use this, of course, we're going to offer them our version of it so they can use it, what they are used to. Now, this thing understands about Hathor, understands about all the aspects of adapt, how integration works, that MetaMask snaps exists, Realm exists, integration with the wallets, everything is there. And they can build on Hathor the same way that they build on for a desktop app or for a mobile app or for whatever, because we are doing all these integrations for them.
100%.
So it's part of our what we call the dev experience, the developer experience, improving the dev experience so they can build on Hathor in an easy, intuitive, and safe way.
Yeah, it's built for the devs by the devs. The dev experience it's nice. It's definitely nice, and I think even me not being and having a dev background, I can see it quite clearly. You know, so I can only imagine how you guys feel about everything that's been built thus far and what's coming, because I think it's really amazing for someone that doesn't understand it to understand it. Because me, I'm a creative. You know, my background is art, design. You know, and sales, and that's it. You know, I have not the single clue. Of course, over 5 years at Hathor, I've learned a lot about Python and our infrastructure. I think I'm quite well versed in talking quite technical, but absolutely no education in it. But what's been built and what we have today is amazing, you know, because I can already see how what it does. It does what it says on the tin and more. You know, I think if I give critique to myself, being in kind of communications, there's so much more we can showcase and talk about this tech that we have out already. So it's amazing. So yeah, I guess look, Marcelo, I have more to ask you, but I think I'll probably get you on another episode quite soon. Um,
Okay, of course, it's gonna
just
be
for
my
what
pleasure. How long
it's,
has been already?
it's been 1 hour 8 minutes.
Oh,
Um,
damn. Okay,
yeah,
you
yeah,
asked
we
me.
can
Okay,
go
let's keep it
hours.
short. Maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah, so I will just whoever's watched up until this point, I'm gonna actually put timestamps in the time bar so that you can skip to sections, and that'll
Oh,
be
all right, makes
we'll do
sense.
that for YouTube. Yeah, so we can do that. But yeah, before we part ways, like, because I had more questions on like what upgrades are coming to the network and so on, and I think we can kind of touch on that in another episode. But I think to round off this episode about this all new roadmap we've kind of released over post Nano Contracts launch. I guess just to recap, we said when Nano, we said when Dozer, we said when dynamic transaction model, and you've answered all those quite well. And thanks for accepting my directness. I just want to ask you now, what does this roadmap post Nano Contracts era of Hathor, us out of the cave, us building on top of this beautiful building structure that's been, we've given the sign off on the surveyors, guys. This building is strong. Now make it look pretty. What does this roadmap mean for Hathor's position in the market as you see it now? Like everything that we've done up until this point, and now this newly announced roadmap that we've done. What does this new Hathor and the post mainnet Hathor mean? When I say post mainnet, post mainnet Nano Contracts, we've been on mainnet
For Nano Contracts, of course.
6 years next month, in less than a month, I guess. So amazing, 6 years, it's flown by. But yeah, what does this new era of Hathor mean in the market now with everything that we kind of discussed?
That's
It's a broad question,
the
actually.
perfect end question, like final question, because I have a friend I know, like he's a developer, he's an engineer, a super good engineer. He said, I feel like Hathor is starting today. And he said, because before there was no programming tools, so nothing for me as engineer. Anyone could create tokens and use the network, but not for me as engineer to create an application. But now we are part of this new application world, and I guess that's it. This, of course, we still have to work on all this roadmap, but this roadmap puts us, I believe, to compete with other platforms that have already been doing this stuff. So programming is new in Hathor because we just launched Nano Contracts. Shielded transactions with smart contracts, I guess it's going to be something innovative, and it's going to attract more use cases. With the Blueprint Marketplace, you want to give incentives for developers to come and use our technology, our network, instead of other networks. With the AI, we are drastically improving the dev experience to let them build quickly and prototype and move fast, which I guess makes a whole difference. So we are now out of the cave and looking at the big picture. We are positioning ourselves in a more dev-centric approach. We want to monetize the dev. We want to give them tools to AI because they are who actually built. We wanted to speed up prototyping, speed up launch, speed up whatever they want to do, so they can come and use. Besides that, our network already offers, I guess, innovative things like the anti-MAV mechanism. So there's no MAV to worry about. We offer the random number generator, which is something new, innovative too. So we want to get. We have. Sorry.
Reentrancy protection as well as
The reentrancy protection. So our network is. Everything was designed thinking about the developer, what developers want to build, and how we can help them to build it easier. So I guess we already have lots of incentives, but the roadmap is very focused on giving more and more incentives to these guys to come. With pipeline transactions, they can do very advanced and complex DeFi flows. So traders can come and use out of this. Developers can come and use their AIs to do that and charge, of course, fees if they want for people to use their AIs. So for us, it's like our step into the DeFi and programmable blockchain. So it's the very beginning. Now we have the foundation, and everything that we're going to do now is build on top of this foundation. The execution layer is there. Now we're going to build on top of this execution layer to attract use cases and to give the best environment possible for developers. So they choose us because it's more convenient, it's easier, it's feeless, or it's very cheap, small fees. It's scalable, it's decentralized, it's shielded, so it's private. All these pieces, I guess, come together into this positioning. I don't know. I guess that's it.
Yeah,
Does it answer?
Yeah, you rounded everything we spoke about very well. So I appreciate you tapping into the new Hathor begins today, and you just touched again on like pipeline transactions, the AI playground, everything we just spoke about. So I think you rounded off pretty well. So yeah, no, thank you for that. Thank you for that. I think I'd love to get you back on soon. I know we've spoken quite soon recently, so it's nice that you've now we're out of the cave. We've got a bit more time for these types of episodes and platforms. So I'd love to get you on again soon. And yeah, guys, like if you stay till the end or you're watching a short or whatever it may be, look, just from my side, I wanted to kind of give my closure. Um, we're in the community, we're in the industry, and as you can hear from Marcelo today, and all the intricate things that we're building for the future of not just blockchain, but development in general for Python developers, creating an economy, monetizing all of this cool stuff. The show continues to go on. And I know that community side, my job in the community is, being with holders, OGs, whatever it may be. And I know like the market is the market we're in, but that does not slow down what we're doing and what we've got planned. So we appreciate everything you do and say. And actually, a lot of the questions we've asked today probably come off the back of some of the questions post the AMA and previously to the AMA. So yeah, guys, like thank you for your support and everything, Marcelo. Thank you for giving us insights into all the amazing stuff and answering my rigorous questions a bit there as well. Appreciate that. And yeah, if you want to watch more content about more of the strategic side, like we've had an episode with Jan recently on Leadership Forum. He answered some questions about marketing roadmap, all that type of other stuff. Please check the last video as well. And yeah, we'll look to get in touch with you guys with more content like this soon. And guys, the market is the market, and we're here, we're strong, and we're busy. We've come out of the cave, Marcelo, but we might have to enter another cave. So, but,
Yeah, and
yeah, go for it.
I'd like to add, we were talking about the market, and I guess there's one message that's very relevant is that
Tell me.
regardless of the markets, we keep building. We've been through many, many cycles, and we keep building. It doesn't change for us. We can't control, we have no control about the market, but it doesn't change our motivation and what we believe. And yeah, in the hot market and in a bear market, we've been always here for from the past. Like for me, it's been since 2018, so it's been 7 years. I'm going to 8 years now. So I've seen a lot of things happening in the market. It doesn't change. We've been
Actually, yeah,
here. We're building. We keep building.
100%. And when I joined Hathor Labs in 2021, I fortunately joined when we were entering a bull market. And actually, when I really reevaluate my time in the community, then we had nothing. We had just the market. Like we didn't have anything. Like, of course, you guys brought an NFT functionality to the market, and with the great brains of the Hathorians we have, they monetized and they did great use cases with the very, of course, people need to take also into account we've been on mainnet 6 years. Tokenization is native to the network, and we have over $250 million on tokenized assets on chain without all of these cool things that we're doing today. Um, and yeah, saying that, aside from that, we didn't really have these roadmaps or these updates, and the chain has really matured since then. So whether it's bull or bear, I would say if a bull, whether it's a bull, whether we're in a bull or a bull's coming, whatever it is, we've done a great job delivering some of the biggest stuff over the last 5 years, and most of it has happened in the bear market. Like all of these great like things, whether it's within the RWA side and the regulation side, all of this happened during the market wind down. And when it was winding up, we didn't really have much. So I'm really optimistic to see, aside from markets, just bringing in these new wave of developers, monetization. I have a lot of ideas in my mind that I discussed with Diego and Jan and stuff. And even the next generation of youth being able to enter blockchain quite easily. It's quite scary actually when all of these things go live, that the floodgates may open, truly. So I'll be prepared for that. But no, thanks for your time, Marcelo. You've given me a lot of
Thank
your
you,
time.
Neil.
I appreciate it. And we will timestamp this episode and make a lot of shorts and give you guys insights. And if you liked it or you had any other questions, feel free to comment below on the video. Go to Hathor Network. You'll be able to find the community channel, official community channel through there via Telegram and Discord, and ask us any questions. Because guys, being in the community channels, asking away, it pushes us to create more content and come out with more reactive stuff like this. So amazing. Marcelo, any parting ways before we part ways from this session today?
Yeah, I'd like just to say thank you for having me. I hope I could answer the questions in a satisfiable manner. And I'm happy to come here anywhere soon. You just tell me, and we
Yeah.
can dive deep. I mean, those are so there's so much to discuss in each of these fronts that you can just see what the community is gonna, the audience and the community, what they're gonna think, what they're gonna ask, and we can get together and dive deep so they can understand what we're building, why we're building, the way that they're building.
We could do
But
it.
yeah, I'm very excited to these next steps out of the engine, more into the ecosystem.
So, like you said, like your friend said, who the developer, it does really start today. Like everything is now starting. I guess what I will commit to is when I speak to the community or they start seeing this, let's ask them what one thing they like from the roadmap or one thing they want us to deep dive. We can create an episode on one topic and dive deep, and do another
Sounds
tech talk.
perfect.
We'll do that. We'll do that. I'll get back to you on that. And
Okay,
yeah,
thank you.
until then, Hathorians, thank you for taking part. Any questions or anything, catch us in the community channels, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.
Cheers.